What exactly is going on with these fancy new arms that Yuji got? The short answer, we don't know for sure, but saying that wouldn't make for an interesting video or spark any cool theories, and that's where the fun is, right? Today I'm going to say what I think is going on with him and why, and also I'll say what I hope it's not. I guess for starters, I'll go ahead and get the lame answer out of the way and first say that I hope it's not just a curse tool that maybe he got from like Yuta or Maki. I say this because back in Sendai, if you remember, Yuta used Rika to summon a closet full of weapons, and he whipped out some long ass gauntlets that look similar to the new arms that Yuji has. I think that would be the boring answer, and hopefully it's not that, but I do want to say I wouldn't be against him having cursed tools in addition to whatever this is if it happens to be a technique. Like maybe Yuta or Maki gave him some cool blade or slice-proof vest. I think that'd be cool, but just as long as the arms are not like a tool. Anyway, as of the current chapter, 247, Yuji, along with Choso, Ino, Higuruma, and Kusakabe are now on the battlefield to face off against Sukuna, and not even Sukuna has commented on these weird dragon bone-like arms. Sukuna attacks Yuji and says there isn't a single interesting bone in Yuji's body, but to us, the readers, we know that just isn't true. I mean, moments before calling him boring, Sukuna blocks a punch from Yuji that causes him to stagger and question what happened. That's gotta count for something, right? Today I want to look at what I think are all the possibilities for what these new arms can do, because unlike Sukuna, I do think they're interesting, and the possibilities are nearly endless. We know after Yuji trained with Todo and learned how to control his cursed energy, he pretty much forgot how to use the Virgin Fist until he remembered again during his fight with the Grasshopper Curse, and then later versus Mahito in Shibuya, and since then it's been stated that he can pretty much do it on command, but is that what shook Sukuna here? It's possible, but I think there's probably a few more factors in place. Yeah, so I'll come out and say it. I think that Yuji ate the remaining curse wombs. I know, I'm not the first one to come up with the theory, but maybe I have some new ideas. We know that Choso and his brothers Kechizu and Eso were part of a larger family with 6 more cursed wombs left behind in jars that were kept in a storehouse near where Tengen was hidden, and before entering Tengen's maze, Choso tells his brothers he'll come back for them, and then the story progresses from there. But what does that have to do with Yuji, you ask? I'll get to it. Give me a second. Anyway, after Sukuna swaps hosts to Megami, it's stated that Yuji's body is now seeped in Sukuna's cursed energy, sort of like a sponge that sat in a bucket full of water for a long time, only in this case, the bucket of water is Sukuna. Later, before Gojo was finally freed, Yuji tells this to Amai, while also saying that he'll eat anything if he can kill Sukuna. Almost immediately after that, Yuji is seen talking to Choso, and Choso hands him the book on soul research that Yuki gave him, and he's like, yo, thanks, big bro. Choso, misunderstanding his words at the time, says, it's no problem, and Yuji's like, nah, man, I mean about your brothers, and Choso responds, that's okay too, they'll live on inside you. Before I go any further, I want to mention that it looks like some time ago there was like a Q&A or something in which Gege was asked what would happen if Yuji ate the cursed wombs, and he said it would become sort of like Sukuna's current state, whatever that means, or they would just simply disappear and become cursed energy, I guess kind of like eating and, you know, they become energy. I think more people focused on the disappearing part, but I'm leaning more towards the former and believe that Yuji ate the remaining 6 cursed wombs and took on their abilities. Something worth note is that the cursed womb death paintings are based on a set of Japanese paintings that depict the 9 stages of death and decomposition for a human body. You can see the names for each stage here, and almost all of them share names with Choso and his brothers, who also share abilities loosely similar to those stages of death like rotting and bleeding. With that said, I think Yuji has a few new abilities, and not necessarily all of the moves that Choso has, but I think he's probably capable of creating like blood blades, and maybe at the very least I think the arms are probably a super enhanced version of Flowing Red Scale, just focused on the arms. I don't expect to see Yuji throwing out piercing bloods like Choso or Kamo or firing off supernovas, but another stage of death shown in the images is bloating, which takes place when the bacteria in your dead body releases gas, causing it to swell. That punch that shook Sukuna, I personally think that was one of 2 things, either like a small application of bloating that will eventually stack up over time, causing him to swell up, and I don't know what comes from that, but we'll see, and maybe some other type of internal blood boiling or blood popping ability that sort of shakes the inside of the person hit by them. I don't think he's gonna be the exact same with like characters like Choso where they're controlling the blood outside of their bodies, but maybe he can like hit you and kind of resonate with the blood inside your body. I think that fit his left right good night fight style, you know? Like I said, I don't imagine I'm alone in the Yuji ate the death paintings theory, and just in case you're someone who still isn't on board, then there's another key point in the fact that Yuji thanks Noatoshi Kamo for training him while saying Choso sucks at teaching. Now, I'm no genius, but I think you can tell me what the shared similarities are between Kamo and Choso. It's blood manipulation, and it would make sense that Choso wouldn't be great at teaching because he's a natural and also half curse. Another thing I remembered is there was also a blood net-like ability called Crimson Binding that Kamo used on Nue back in the Goodwill arc when he was facing off against Megami. So I hope we get to see that again, and it just feels like something that would be useful here. Remember, Yuji says he has some ideas for how to free Megami, and Maki also mentioned that they would need to render Sukuna unable to fight. fight. I'm not saying a net would be all they need to take down the King of Curses, but I think it would help. If I were to list all of the abilities I believe Yuji currently possesses, it would be obviously Divergent Fist. Maybe he can make blood blades, his own application of piercing blood, which at best would probably be just used to fire off behind his fist to give it like jet speed or something so he can punch. Like I said, I don't see him firing off arrows like Kamo and Choso. There's the bloating that I talked about, or internal blood explosions. He could probably cut you with those weird ass elbows, and hell, Gojo even said eventually he would gain Sukuna's technique, so maybe he can toss out like a bloody dismantle or something. And then last but not least, the final ability being some sort of soul swapping. Folks with a keen eye know what I'm talking about here. My homeboy asked me the other day what I thought was going on with Yuji, and I said, you mean besides the soul swap? And he thought I was messing with him, and it makes sense because it's a very easy to miss detail. But it's clear that in chapter 222, when Kusakabe and Yuji are training together, it's Yuji's body who yells at Kusakabe, who is on the ground saying, "Get the hang of it, Itadori," which doesn't make any sense. My guess is maybe through the soul research as well as combining abilities from other curse wombs that Yuji may be able to mix his blood with someone else's or splash his blood on them to swap bodies or something. If this is the case, then the applications for this are nearly endless, and I can see Yuji possibly switching bodies with someone like Sukuna and then grabbing his own body and maybe having someone kill them both at the same time, or just utilizing a soul swap with another character in some interesting way. A couple more things of note. Kusakabe said that a point-blank dismantling pretty much will result in instant death, but we see Sukuna slap Yuji's midsection here and it turns it into deli meat, and we know the boy is tough, but between this and walking through Sukuna's slashes earlier, even though Megami was holding back, also kind of proves that the slashes could just not be as effective as they should be. Now that he's soaked in Sukuna's cursed energy, it's like a water Pokemon using Hydro Pump on another water Pokemon. He may also be reinforcing his middle area like Choso did in the bathroom fight. One last thing I want to mention before I go, I think it would be cool as hell to see Yuji and Choso do a combo Blood Brothers attack on Sukuna, and we get a scene kind of like Yuji and Nobara doing the Black Flash panel. Anyway, that's it for this video. Make sure you like and subscribe if you rock with the video, man. I'm super close to 1,000 subscribers and I can almost start making money, so help me out since it's free for you. Also, my last video went kind of crazy, over 50k views in 7 days. Y'all made me fly way past my 2024 goals in a week, and that's nuts. After about a week, I'm gonna pick my favorite comments and post it in the community section as comments of the week, so make sure you make some noise down below, whether it's to disagree or tell me your theories or just saying what's up and show some support. Thank all y'all, man, for real, from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate it. I'm gonna be back real soon. Thank you for watching.